Okay, let's go. This is a video review for the new Truthear X Crinacle Zero Red. This is a updated and upgraded version of the super popular and very much I'm a fanboy of the TE0 that was released last year. Upgraded, updated. It's got better voice coils. The circuitry has been upgraded. I just watched this video to make sure I know what's going on. There's two sets right there. If you'd like to win one, comment below this video. $50 is still a lot of money for a lot of people around the world. So if you want to get a free one, go ahead and put your comment below. You got to be a subscriber. There's no way around that. The other one will be given away on Twitter. I got two because the first one came and the impedance adapter was kind of wonky. Shenzhen and Crinacle kindly sent a second one, and that one's fully good to go. The good to go one will be on YouTube, and the one that doesn't have the impedance adapter, the 10 ohm, will go on Twitter, and I'll let the people know that are interested, and that's it. Now let's go ahead and put up a border here. This is obviously similar to the original. I went ahead and put the scores in blue, small, and those represent the original, and the red represents the new. I think that the bass on the original is more to my liking than the new one. It was obnoxious, it was in your face, it was perfect for hip-hop. Stuff like Tupac, Kendrick Lamar, Nipsey Hussle, Nas, Jay-Z, Prodigy, stuff like Ghetto Boys, just like no other set prior to it. It was so perfectly built, and is perfectly built for my hip-hop part of my library, which is you're looking at right now. I'm listening to Menace to Society right now because it keeps me in a good mood while I'm doing a review. It was revolutionary in the sense that nobody had done that prior. Dedicated, crossed over subwoofer with some punch to it. Just totally beastly. So I think that the bass is better on the original, while the bass on the new one is more familiar to you. We'll do multiple genres. So that's why that score is like that. I think that the mids on the new set are better than the old one. If we took a look at the graph slowly, the elevated bass and the abrupt and significant ear gain was kind of putting your ears in like a U hammer, and it could be quite intense. And the mid sounded thin as a result of that, whereas this has more of a glide and it kind of blends into the mid bass into the mids, a little more natural and more friendly to a wider portion of your library. I think that the treble is better on the new set as well. It's not quite as abrupt and abrasive. I think that the res is very similar to the original. This might be something that people disagree with. The intensity of the original could be confused with res because a lot of stuff is there and the details, but it's because it's being shoved at you as opposed to just because you've got the technical ability to pick up subtle nuances like finger slides on fretboards and pedal pushes on piano play by Elton John. You could be mistakenly assuming it's just high res when it's just shout. These are both not res beasts. I think that for most people they'll find the res perceived to be probably better on the red, which is the newest set. I think for down on the bottom, what is this great for? I think this really does everything in my library well. I think it does much better with electric guitars than the original one, especially if you use distortion pedals. We see part of Jimi Hendrix's library coming into view right here. That was really hard to listen to with the original because the way that the treble is tuned, whereas the Zero Red does much better with that. It's much more like a lot of other sets that I'm very much a fan of. It's not in my face and it sounds quite good. So Metallica, Jimi Hendrix, male-female vocals, Fleetwood Mac does really good. Madonna, Take a Bow, female. Love the production on that. It's very produced, but I love the sound of it and the spatial cues and the swirling and all that stuff that goes on. Does really good with that, much better than the original Zero. It's just okay with stuff like Big Boy Kill Jill, and the stuff that the original TE0 did really good with. Now, having said that, you can slap an impedance adapter on here and up the bass to a level that's almost the same as the original. It's the type of tuning where you've got the seemingly rolled sub bass. It's very much how you would tune kind of a subwoofer. There's not a lot of info below 20 hertz if there's any when they do production, because there's artifacts and stuff that will impede the quality. So the way that the original Zero was tuned, a lot of people thought, oh, that bass roll is going to get me, and you don't pick it up. And especially in stuff that it really shines on, like Big Boy Killed You can get the 38 hertz slam really good on the original, and you can get it on this one. There's more force with the original. You slap on the impedance adapter or a bigger impedance adapter like 75 ohms. Let me take a moment to shout out Pen on Audio. I don't know what kind of stick is in your rump, but it's been years. Let it go. Every time I order something, it just gets flat out canceled. I ordered a 75 ohm impedance adapter so that I could do this video in a different way, because AliExpress takes forever, and it just got straight up canceled. So notable, get over it. Whatever it is, get over it. So I'm sorry that I don't have like a 75 ohm, because I'd love to be able to slap that on and then play with some Big Boy Killjoy. I will revisit that down the road when I do have an impedance adapter of 60 or 75 or more ohms. I'm sure some other people will go ahead and do that before I do it. But when I do an updated top bass head list, budget under $100 or under $50, I'm sure pretty much that this set will be able to do that because of the upgraded internals. It's got a price of $55. It's got a configuration, again, of two dynamic drivers. It's got an efficiency of 117.5 and an impedance of 17.5 ohms. I'll throw up a spider graph really quick. This pretty much reflects what I just said. The mids and treble are an improvement. Resolution, I think you can probably pick it up. It's not really very different from the original. I think the stage on this sounds bigger as well. I didn't expect that, but it does sound it on live stuff. I think the tonality as it is, without the impedance adapters of higher numeration, I like the uniqueness of the TE0. And the value, it's more affordable, and the bass on that. So that's how that goes. So to summarize, should you buy this set? If you like the TE0 the way it is, and the nozzle's the same on this one. If you're okay with that set, then I would say you would stick with where you're at. If you have a large library like mine, because I use the TE0 for really my hip-hop library. I don't listen to rock with it. I can, but I don't. I use the TE0 to listen to hip-hop and sometimes reggae and stuff. I love the slam on it. If you have a library that's got great variety like mine, Cadillac Dong and J Money right under Bruce Springsteen, next to Cheap Trick. Now we've got Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, next to Def Leppard, next to Eazy-E, which is next to Elton John, Fleetwood Mac, Grateful Dead, with some Ice Cube, some Jay-Z, the Black Album. If you've got a lot of stuff in your playlist and you don't want to play around with EQ, the new set would be the better one, because it's more friendly to a shuffle, like you moving from one song to the other. It's got enough mid-bass to take care of the rhythm section in a rock and roll track. It's got polite enough treble to accept distortion pedals with dual lead guitarist, for example. I would recommend that you get the Zero Red. You don't need to mess with it. It will do everything in your library. If you've got what you've got, which is the original Zero, and you don't find there to be any problem with it, I'd say stay where you are. This doesn't have more bass in how it's packaged, but you can purchase impedance adapters to up it. You could do that with the original, if I'm not mistaken, though. So I guess it depends on, and every recommendation. Are you happy with the original? When I released the Olena, there are a lot of people that said it's too intense, the note weight is lacking because of the treble intensity. Release the Olena SE. Do the video. If you're happy with the Olena, stay where you are. If you find that to be abrasive and offensive, and then get the SE. If it was just so close but not quite enough, then get the SE. This is the same recommendation, but actually more. This does all of my library, the Zero Red, whereas the Blue, as I've repeated, did the hip-hop only. So of course you're going to recommend a set that does a wider portion of the library. This reviewer, personally, I was blown away by the Zero. Go watch my video. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe I didn't come up with that idea first. Crinacle did. A guy that likes not a ton of bass. Mud is not something he's a fan of, and he didn't do mud, but he did do a lot of bass, and I was just so jealous. I I've said it before. I was so jealous of that. That was brilliant maneuver. So there's a special spot for the zero forever, and it's this part of my library. For the whole rest of it, and for all of you out there, which represents 99 out of 100 people, the zero red is probably the smarter purchase. And that's my review for now. I'll update this, and particularly when I get impedance adapters, and it'll probably, with the adapters, make a bass ed list. And then it doesn't have a BA in the treble. It's got a dynamic drive in the treble. So there's some super potential, but as it is right now, this is the review. Again, shout out to Shenzhen. Thank you very much. Thank you to Crin. Good luck. I'm sure he's going to sell a metric ton of these. Good luck. Enjoy. You guys enjoy your weekend, and I'm out.